Hello and welcome to the Berkcast, the How to Train Your Dragon podcast. I'm your host, HC, and with me is...
Rush 2112.
And sadly, Voyager is still not with us, but she'll be back soon. But until then, let's keep the show rolling. So today, we are talking about Fishlegs, our nerdy dragon nerd, I guess you can say. And... So, Rush, what are your thoughts about Fishlegs? Do you like him? You don't? What's on your mind?
I like him in just the generic, weighing the highs and lows. He's definitely good at heart. He's a good character, and they use him decently well. And then just the way he also is really smart and can figure out things on his own. That's something that I like about him as well.
And in terms of me, again, I like him. He's a good character. He's not taking down this franchise with his existence or something. But at the same time, if we talk about the other Dragon Riders, the one that are not Hiccup or Astrid, he's not my favorite.
Yeah, he's not my favorite either.
Yeah, but he has his moments, and he's voiced by the motherfucker from Kick-Ass. That's a good...
Yes, he is. He's voiced by Christopher Mintz-Plasse. I believe that's how you pronounce his name.
Okay, I had no idea how to pronounce the last name until you just said it, so thank you for teaching me.
You're welcome, man. Anybody who's listening who doesn't know how to pronounce it or doesn't care, you're also welcome.
Okay, so like we said, we think we like him just fine, but at the same time, he's not our favorite. That's pretty much what sums it up. Am I right?
Yeah, I think that can be. That's probably just how they write him out to be, in my opinion. They give him some obvious. I mean, they give everybody, characteristics they wouldn't, that a viewer wouldn't like, but they also keep them likable and realistic. So that's one thing. But I'll continue that when we talk about the other writers and such.
Yes. Okay, so what do we think about Mitlag and his relationship with her? What do you have to say on the matter?
It's a little creepy, to be 100% honest.
Yeah, there's this line where we found out Mitlag is a girl in Gift of the Night Fury, and Astrid tells him, your dragon is Mitlag is a girl,
No,
and he's
it
like,
was,
actually, that explains a few things.
It's Rough Nut actually that tells him that.
Oh, right. Yeah, Astrid is the one that tells him the Chile eggs. But either way, he responds with this. Actually, that explains a few things. What things? What happens with these two? What?
Yeah.
What did he see that we didn't? And actually, I don't want to know. Delete.
Yeah, I honestly think his Fishlegs says that the most innocent of them all as well, because he's naive. He's book smart, but he's not street smart, so he's pretty naive when it comes to other things. But definitely
he relies more on the knowledge of the books than the knowledge of the experience.
Yeah, exactly. Which is can easily be seen in how he's always which can be explained by why he's always scared of everything, because it's like, oh, this is not the book, this is the real world. But I think the pinnacle of the creepiness in my scale for the Meatlug and Fishlegs relationship was the Follow My Lead episode in the most recent season, or the most recent batch of episodes, where it's the very beginning, and for some reason Meatlug is like, she pops up in that animation style, and then she turns, like, for some reason it looks like she has a bridal dress on. It's like, okay.
Oh yeah, I remember that, and I was like, okay.
Exactly.
You heard it first right here in the Berkcast, folks. How to Train a Dragon endorses bestiality.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. First,
Not really,
first
not
they
really.
yeah, first they have, they make Gobber gay, and now they make Fishlegs
Yeah,
weird.
but
I
yeah,
know
but gay people are normal.
they are. That's
Imagine
true.
imagine your dragon or any sort of pet in a bride outfit next to you. Not so much.
Yeah, there's
Uh,
nothing wrong with personal opinion.
yes.
But I mean, there's just
Okay.
there's when you take something like that the fish likes meat like relationship and bring it to reality, it's still just a weird thing. I mean, obviously there's a whole lot of discussion topics over just can humans marry other animals and people. It's obviously it's more one-sided on this opinion than other
I
opinions, but
don't quote me on that, but I heard that in the UK some guy married his 3DS.
yeah, people do that all the time, and I mean, it's whatever.
And before we offend someone, whatever you wanna marry, go right ahead. We don't judge. We just
We don't.
say
I mean,
we don't get the appeal, but
yeah,
you
like
have fun.
absolutely do what you want to do within the reason of the law, because that's kind of how society works, unfortunately. But I know I
You
said it
know,
was creepy earlier, but I
less
still would.
than 10 minutes in, and this is already our most controversial episode.
Yes, yeah. Next week,
Okay.
school shoot.
No.
Yeah, uh, oh, look, a 30-minute gap in our conversation. What just happened? um, okay, back on
Okay,
topic.
so before we
One last, sorry,
digress
one
way
last
too
word.
much,
Yeah, one last word. If I wouldn't, even if Fishlegs did that, I probably wouldn't treat him any different. It would weird me out at first, but I'd get used to it. That's just
yeah,
making sure I'm staying politically correct, and that's honestly how I would react to it. I would say what's going on at first, but then be like, well, it really hasn't changed him as a person, because it probably wouldn't. So
my first reaction to that will be, what the hell are they smoking in this writing room, and can I have some of it right now? But
exactly.
okay, but
All right, next
before this
topic.
gets
Yeah, before we
okay,
get sued.
to discuss his relationship with Mitlag in a more
Tame.
tame way, I guess you can say. I believe their connection is stronger than Astrid's and Stonefly's. In connection to what we said in the previous episode about Astrid and Stonefly, like
Yeah,
if
probably.
the dragons will have to leave, Fishlegs will take it really, really hard.
Ooh, absolutely. I think Fishlegs would take it hardest. Mostly because we kind of like going back to the quote unquote controversy. It's just the way that you see it. Like they love each other, both, in a way it's almost more than a okay. So Astrid we said was coworker, coworker or friends or brothers, sisters. Sorry, sisters in arms, and then
Yeah.
Hiccup and Toothless are like brothers
Siblings.
or best friends. Yeah, siblings. Meatleg and Fishlegs are kind of almost like a married couple, or you could say.
I was worried you were going to say that.
I know, but I'm just saying this in terms of relationship style. They care for
Yeah,
each other
I know
a
what you
lot,
mean.
and
Okay, listeners, if you want, Photoshop Brad Pitt's face on Fishleg's body and Angelina Jolie's on Mitlag.
that would assume that they're
Do
breaking up.
do it, I dare you.
Oh God, you heard it here first.
Yeah.
Fishlug, because Bradgelina, Fishlug.
Yeah.
Okay,
Fishlug. That's
On the terms of other relationships with Fishlegs, we'll get to that later, though.
Yeah,
for
but-
those who are waiting for the big debate,
yeah, but
the second
one
controversy
thing.
that we're gonna have on this.
Yeah, the second controversy. Oh God. Man, I thought I didn't know how we were going to fill this episode, but 10 minutes we started the controversies. Good on us.
Yeah, absolutely.
We supply you good content here on the Berkcast, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, you may find it offensive, but it's good content. We try and keep
Okay.
PG.
Okay, but one last thing about Midtag actually is in Gift of the Night Fury, really, when all the dragons are leaving, he's the first to take action and keep Midlag with him. No other rider has done that, so that in some sense that shows how strong their connection is, and also when she comes back he runs up to her and he hugs her so strong that he actually knocks her out.
Yeah, but
I don't know
that
what
can
it
also go to say about Fishlegs' size.
yeah
He's heavy.
yeah he's probably the strongest one.
Mhm.
Okay, so from that topic to the next, I don't know if you've noticed this, but especially on the show, he seems to get the most development out of the other writers, and I mean that because there are a lot of episodes that focus on him, as opposed to the twins or Snotlout or even Astrid.
Yeah, and my opinion on this is that I'm kind of gonna go over a small overview of all the characters here. So, Hiccup character development episodes are, he's either unsure of himself and just needs to be reassured. He's learning about a new dragon, or just something about him problem solving. Astrid's episodes are showing her being Astrid, as we talked about last episode. Super warrior like and defensive, but then showing a softer side. Like they're kind of generic. Snotlet episodes are showing he's like a jerk, but he also has a softer side or a side that's insecure. That's the main parts, or just that he's dumb in some episodes. Then the twins episodes are just showing them that the twins really, they're just the twins. They're either getting in trouble, but they care for each other, or it's kind of they're all the same. For Fishlegs though, he's always like
Fi-
insecure. So these other episodes that we get of him are
It's not necessarily that he's insecure, but it
unsure
mostly
of
seems
himself.
like it seems like the other riders are not the ones secure about him. They don't trust him, and
Well, it's a little bit of both. I mean, I'm pretty sure Hiccup trusts him. The only person Astrid trusts are Hiccup and herself, right? And the others. So yeah, I guess that kind of makes sense. But what I was kind of going on with that, the Fishlegs episodes are, we see always Fishlegs as this nerd, as we talked about, who's kind of a coward, but he's a good friend. Then we get in episodes like, let's talk about the Race to the Edge episodes. Big Man on Berk, we see, of course, that's him hypnotized, but you could say that's an underlying part of him. Then we can
yeah.
talk about the Follow the Leader, where he wants to be appreciated. So I think on your terms, he's underappreciated. Is that kind of what you were going for? He feels
Yeah,
underappreciated.
because I think there was one episode in either Riders or Defenders. I believe it was Riders, and there was also an episode. I believe it was Big Man on the one where he gets hypnotized and thinks he's a superhero or something. Both those episodes started with the others not taking him seriously, and
Yes. So the one in Riders of Birth that you're talking about, actually, I believe it's Defenders, but it's when they're trying to train the
yeah,
Terrible Terrors, right?
Um, no,
No.
but it was I don't know. I think there was an episode where Mitlang is just is the slowest in comparison to the
Iron
other
Gronkle.
dragons.
Iron Gronkle.
Yeah,
It is the
it
very
was
first
Defenders as well,
episode
right?
of Defenders. Yes, but yes,
It
I
was
completely
it
agree.
in the second? The first one was the one with the flight club.
Oh yes. Sorry, Flight Club, and then second one was Iron Gronkle. You're correct.
Yeah, but But you get my point. It seems like some episodes only start with him either saying something that nobody listens, but then turns out he was correct, or he just did a small mistake and he needs to redeem himself. Or he finds out about something, they don't believe him, they found out he was right, they help him. There seems to be some sort of a formula with him.
Yeah,
And
well, so I guess adding to my how all the other writers have their episode formulas, as you say, the generic Fishlegs episode. Now, correct me if you don't agree with me. Is him trying to find validation for himself, right? Okay.
Yeah, because
and it's not because he
like
doesn't
this.
feel bad. It's because the other writers sometimes don't give him the validation.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. Because I think when I noticed this in the last batch of Race to the Edge, where with a few of the other specific writer-centric episodes, I wasn't really sure who it was going to focus on at the beginning. Whenever it's Fishlegs, I'm like, oh, that's the Fishlegs episode. Okay.
Exactly. Yep. Because in Race to the Edge, most notably, let's just talk about the Snotlout-centric episodes, just real quickly. It hiccups in, I think, almost all of them, right?
Yes,
Snotlout gets
he's right there with him. He's not alone on this journey.
Exactly.
And not necessarily just Hiccup, but all the writers. Like in the last bunch, the second episode with what's the dragon called?
Cavern Crasher.
Yeah.
Crash Course, that's the name of the episode, yep.
Yeah, in that episode, all the writers are with them in that cave. So, yeah, you get the idea.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so Fishlegs, that's a good point. When it's a Fishlegs character development episode, it's actually, you're right, it's generally just him. You can tell it's going to be a Fishlegs one.
Yeah, and that's kind of the problem I have with it. Not that all of these episodes are bad, mind you. Some of them got a chuckle out of me, and some of them I enjoyed watching, but at the same time, he's sort of learning the same thing in every episode that focuses on him. And, you know, let's say we're currently in the fourth season. Four seasons in, come on guys, you can do better than that.
Yeah, I mean, but granted, it's just, there's only so much you can do with Fishlegs. You can hypnotize him, right, to make him think he's all that, but then you have to bring him back to his just nerdy, meek self in the end.
But I will give Race to the Edge that, and I didn't expect them to show an origin in movie 2 where he carries all the dragon stats in his pocket.
Good, yeah.
I didn't expect them to explain that, but they did, and it works. I can understand this explanation, so good on them for that. I
can totally buy it too, and I like how they get Hiccup in on it too, to freak out about it, and everybody's like, what is that? It's not like he just has him randomly and everybody accepts it. That was a pretty good one.
Yes.
One thing, like, even though I didn't really like the episode, the follow the leader episode, I didn't really necessarily like it. I do kind of like how they give Fishlegs he kind of does take the mantle of leader towards the end of telling him what to do. That shows that in tense situations, Fishlegs can do what he needs to do, I should say.
Actually, one thing I want to say about his development in the show as opposed to the others, in the shows they kind of go into that like Fishlegs' shtick pretty much is that he's the dragon nerd. No problem about that. There needs to be the nerd in every team, probably.
Yeah, and they also include Hiccup in on it too, so they're not making him solo nerd.
Yeah, I was about to get to that because
sorry.
It's okay, because they have these moments where they both geek out about a new discovery and new information they get about a certain species, or they discover a new one. You know what I mean. And that's interesting because in the books, Fishlegs is Hiccup's best friend.
Mm-hmm.
So I and like a lot of things with the show actually, it seems like they are trying to lead in that way that maybe they are best friends in this universe as well, but they don't really go to they don't really go in that direction. And I'll tell you right now, if the show try and made Fishlegs as a best friend to Hiccup as Astrid, or not toothless levels, but on the same level as Astrid anyway, I would really like that. That will raise Fishlegs up for me. That he has like someone to talk to, has someone to chat with, on like best friends. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can see that, and they kind of bring you that what you say, what like I kind of stole from you, that whole they nerd out together thing.
Hmm.
That again, I'm gonna be referencing that follow the leader episode a lot, but once when like it's Hiccup and Astrid, after Hiccup tells Fish like he's disappointed, like Astrid's like what's wrong or something like that, and Hiccup's like blah blah blah, feel bad. He loves this stuff. He and I geek out together or something like
Yeah,
that.
I remember
And
that line,
that
and
kind of
that's
that kind of
exactly
gives
what
you
I'm
some,
talking
yeah,
about.
that kind of gives you some depth to how they have a pretty. I mean, it's obviously in terms of relationships, it's obviously not like the best friend like Hiccup Astrid or more than best friends. Cough cough. But it definitely shows you that there's something there. They're not just throwing in these random moments where it's like, oh, they geek out together. Excuse me, they geek out together, and then what? They always give you back depth to it.
Yeah.
And that actually kind of reminded me, um, just in terms of relationships with the other writers. Obviously, we can kind of throw out anything between Snotlout and the twins, because there actually haven't been too many twins and Fishlegs interactions, other than Fishlegs getting frustrated with them and correcting them for saying something stupid.
We will probably get to that in the next topic, which we have on
Yeah.
the script.
Well, yes, there's that, but
So, what do you
you guys are
say?
here.
Should we get into it?
Just let me finish. I'll make this one quick because I
Okay,
just want
go
to
ahead,
say,
buddy.
Fishlegs and Astrid, Astrid. It's a work relationship between the two. They'll work together, and they really don't have too much going on, like problem-wise there. Fishlegs and Snarl, we've had plenty of those episodes. No need to go into the depth. They really obviously don't like each other. But Fishlegs and Hiccup, if you go all the way back to the beginning of the movie, Fishlegs never really teased Hiccup about it. In fact, at the
Yeah.
very, very beginning, their first interaction was Fishlegs leaning over to Hiccup and saying the stats, the nerd stuff, which kind of sets him up as the nerd. But it shows that
Yes.
Fishlegs didn't care that Hiccup was the outcast.
Also, they teamed up in the when Gobber puts them against the Zippleback.
Yeah, they do too. So, and again, more stats thrown out by him.
Yeah,
But yeah, that's
which
just kind of what I wanted.
which that time made Hiccup really angry,
Yeah,
and I don't blame him. I would have shouted at him as well. But
yeah,
either way,
yeah. But
uh,
in terms of the Fishlegs twins interactions, what's our next topic?
yeah, our next topic is rough legs or het legs, and I would like to mention that in the script I mentioned because we need our controversy inducing topic.
Which a controversy that we don't randomly throw on
I
accident. We
want
need our
to
scripted controversy.
Yeah, I want to point out to the listeners that the controversy at the beginning of this episode wasn't planned when I wrote the script, so
That's usually my fault. Any unplanned controversy is usually my fault.
it's it's okay. It brings in laughs most of the
Yeah.
time. But okay, let's get right into it. Rough legs or het legs?
Uh, well, I'm. It's definitely hard to choose. But I'd have to go with mostly Half-Legs because I mean, I feel like I'm more of an appreciation type of relationship where they like each other both. You know, when you saw the rough legs, like that one episode on Snotlout gets the axe, it
Yeah.
was kind of, at first you could just say, Roughnut was just taking advantage of him, and then in the end you get a little bit of something there, but she then slaps him, and so I don't think like that would be. I'm thinking about this in terms of how actual relationships would work, but I think
Yes.
Heather would be good for fish legs. So honestly, I don't really care too much about it. But if you
Yeah,
want
it's
me to give a
let's say it
definitive
like this.
answer,
At the end of the day, it's not the topic that we care about the most, but if we have to choose one, what would we choose?
and then my answer exactly. That's how I was thinking about it. My answer is Heath legs.
I would say Hatlegs too, but there's one problem. Heather is not in the movies,
That's
and we
true. I mean,
know.
I know it's not gonna. It's.
So
I thought. Well, okay. If we're talking about in terms of what's gonna happen, we'll talk about the end. I know Heather isn't in the movies, so she obviously will have
yeah,
to leave.
that actually kind of foreshadows the episode we will do about her someday.
I still
But
believe
yeah,
my. I
yeah,
still
but
believe my prediction.
yeah, oh yeah, I think I remember that. But remind me after we finish.
Yeah.
Either way, I like Headlegs more because, like you said, it seems like both sides are appreciative to one another and care about one another. In Roughlegs' case, Roughlegs' that's I didn't think I would say that word today, but when it comes to Fishlegs and Roughnut, it Snottle gets the axe. There's this thing that she's all of a sudden in love with him once Tough Nut accidentally marries them. How weird is that? Honey, I accidentally married my sister.
Yeah.
Somebody
And
make that movie. and
oh no.
and okay, there's that, and but in two, it seems much more like an abusive relationship, like fish
Oh
legs,
God.
not just with fish legs, but with Snottled as well. They they want to want her, but she beats them up. She ignores them.
Yeah.
She
In the second
is this.
movie, didn't she bury you in the sand for two for? Didn't she bury you in the sand? And it's not loud.
Didn't she try to bury you alive only for
Yeah.
a few hours?
Only for a few hours, exactly. I bet you. I hope we see that actually in the next season. Her burying him
Yeah.
alive.
Yeah, I hope they will remember that line.
Hmm.
But but yeah, I don't know, something about Rufflet and Fishlegs just doesn't work for me. Like let's say it like this: if I see these two people walking down the street, I wouldn't get couple out of them.
Hmm.
It's
uh,
it's not
yeah.
necessarily the chemistry between them. It just I don't know. I look at them, I don't see couple.
Their personalities are too clashing. As not look at the act show, Roughnut's very demanding, and Fishlegs is very, I'll do it, even though he can't do it, if he'll try to, and that would obviously against if he can't meet the demands, then Roughnut would get mad, and then Fishlegs would feel bad about himself, and etc. etc. And then for those fans out there who are just twins fanatics, you can't hold Roughnut back with marriage or a relationship.
Yeah.
There are those people that just don't want the twins to be the twins, and you can't do that if one of them's in a relationship, except for if Tough Nut's in a relationship with Chicken. But that goes
Oh
back
yeah.
to our meat lug fish legs topic.
Okay. Moving on. um,
Rush brings in number 3.
oh, yeah. There's a phrase where I live which says third time ice cream. So let's go get ice cream after this. We won't see each other, but whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, so our favorite fish leg moment.
That's a difficult one. I mean, he's a good character, but most of his good moments are Actually, I now that I'm thinking about Race to the Edge, I really do like it. Anytime that he's with the catastrophic quake and stopping it, or my favorite moment though is when he he drops the hammer and lets him go, because that's really good moment to me, just in the whole episode
Yes.
or the whole series. Just he's like no, and the music and everything right then, it all comes together right there. So that's definitely my favorite moment when he
Okay.
frees quote unquote the catastrophic quake from the hammer.
Yeah. Mine is from movie 2, where after Stuik and Gaber go to find Hiccup, there's this small scene where all the other riders are on this iceberg, and Rafnat goes on about how much she loves Eret. And Snotlow tells her, "But baby, I grew facial hair for you." And then there's this small moment where Fishlegs holds, puts a hand on his cheek, and he's like, "Me too." I don't know.
Yes.
There's something about the way he says that and how desperate it is
The
that I
the
love
the
it.
dejected. Me too.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because Snotlout put so much passion into it. Like, look what I did to you, and Fisher, I did
Yeah,
that too. I need you to
exactly. And
love me,
that
please.
also shows your character development right there. Those tiny things. It's not loud's aggressive, and Fishlegs
Oh
is
no no,
passive.
you know I changed that. Also for movie two, in the battle at Valka's nest, there's the point where Rafnat falls down and both Snutout and Fishlegs grab her, but then she looks at Fishlegs and you see all of these muscles move, but you hear this woo, woo sound effect.
That's not muscle. Trust me.
Yeah, but you
Yeah.
you hear the sound effect and his expression. That's amazing. That's
Yeah. That was a good
I
moment.
I saw that movie 4 times in the theaters. Each time that in the theater, bursting into laughing at this moment.
Mhm. Yep.
Okay, so least favorite moment?
Uh, I gotta go with what probably everybody's thinking, but Big Man on Burke is definitely not up there. It's
Yeah.
way down.
Yeah, I think not necessarily a moment and not necessarily his thing, but
That's true. It
I
wasn't really
I
his
don't
fault.
really like the fact that, like I said, that his episodes feel so repetitive.
Yeah.
So I'll just sum up with that, and we move on to our next topic. What do we see in the future for him?
That's a good question. I honestly can't really say too much about him because the story, the How to Train Your Dragon's super focused on Hiccup, Astrid, Toothless, the dragons, etc., and just
Yeah, of course,
that.
but
So
what
you
do we
can't
see
see too
him
much.
do? What do you see?
I see him in the very end. Uh, he'll probably find someone. I don't know. But it'll never replace Meatlug as just like that's who he cares about too much, and he's lost Meatlug. But before, basically from the end of movie 2 until then, I see him as being just a kind of like what he was in Race to the Edge, the dragon
The
expert.
tactics guy.
Yeah,
Mhm.
he'll be the go-to guy for dragon knowledge. So if there's like any issue integrating dragons to the Berk, they'd go to him. So I think that would be his place as the de facto dragon knowledge expert.
Yeah, I kind of say see it too, but also in terms of now that Hiccup is the chief of Berk, I can kind of see Fishlegs like Astrid will be the right hand woman, but
Mhm.
I can see Fishlegs helping out with strategies in like if Berk is under threat from somewhere, I can see
Mhm.
him stepping in as like a tactics guy. Like, okay, let's say we need to bomb this place, so we better send this type of dragon there while this one will stay
Yes.
here.
Yeah,
I can
he's the
see
dragon
him.
strategist. I can see that too. In terms of, because you know how Stoic had Gobber and Spitelout, I feel like it's kind of hard to say who he would be in those terms because Gobber, there's such different personalities. Spylout is from the movies, not the TV show, right? You can see
Yes.
Spylout as just as the tactical military right hand man, and Gobber is just the go-to conversation friend that'll help.
Yes, I think if we have to
So
compare Hiccup's crew to Stuix, I'll probably say Astrid is like Spycloud, Fishlegs is like Gobble. That's how I
yeah,
see it.
that's what I was getting at. Yeah, so it's not that you know Fishlegs is sarcastic or what is it? What is Hiccup or call Gobber with the Viking with the or the meathead with the attitude at the very
What
beginning?
was
Yeah.
it? Man, I started beginning.
Either way,
I don't remember.
either way, it's not that he has the attitude like that, but in terms of going to for looking for help, um,
Yeah,
just for a conversation, like, and that's kind of what you said back a while ago. You kind of want that friendship between Hiccup and Fishlegs because you can't have Hiccup go
exactly.
to Astrid for everything. So,
hmm
but yeah,
Yeah,
that's kind of what
especially when
I can see.
not that Astrid doesn't have any emotions, but in sort of let's say it like this: if Hiccup needs like to have a conversation like Stoic has with Gaber at the beginning of movie one when he discusses how
Oh yeah,
Hiccup
he would
is not
absolutely go
one.
to Fishlegs for that.
Yeah, Astrid is not the person for this kind of talk.
Yeah, exactly. And
Okay.
another thing that you said, real quick, I kind of like the fan fictions where Fishleg is when Hiccup is chief, Fishlegs runs the Dragon Academy. I like
Yeah,
that too.
I can
I can see
see
that.
I can see that happening.
Yeah, because that he really becomes like Gobber doing the training ring.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I can definitely see Fishlegs taking care of Dragon's teeth and
Mm-hmm.
everything. Okay. So actually, the last topic I wanted to talk about, but we kind of discussed it already, is that among the characters who are not Hiccup or Astrid, how high up will he rank as our favorite?
In terms of numbers, I'd have to actually create a list of characters, which I haven't done yet. But
Yeah, but let's say it like this, but we pretty much agree that among the riders who are the
among
main
the writers,
characters,
yeah,
we kind of agree that he's our least favorite.
yeah,
And
yeah, I'd say
again,
he's yeah.
it doesn't make him bad, but
Yeah,
he's
it's not. It's just
not
that he
as
doesn't
higher
stand out.
up.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
doesn't
there's
stand
nothing about
out
him that really
as.
stands out as it kind of makes me wonder, like we said last time with Astrid, if she was the main character. I believe if Fishlegs was the main character of the franchise, Hiccup will probably be my least favorite as well, because when you really think about it, Hiccup is the straight man of
Yeah,
this group. But because we focus on Hiccup, we know a whole lot about him, so that's what makes us care. So, and the next straight person after him is Fishlegs. So
yeah.
that kind of
Actually,
because
if
also they're
Fishlegs was the
both
main
smart.
character, Snotlout would probably be everybody's least favorite, because then they'd focus more on Snotlout being the bully. I bet.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah, definitely a good way to look at it. But yeah, it's hard to among the writers, right? If we're just doing solo writers, it's hard to rank him basically after Hiccup or Astrid because Snotlout's funny in his moments, but then he gets on your nerves most of the time. And the twins, I'm not a twins fanatic in terms of like sometimes they spend too much time on him, in my opinion.
Yeah,
So
they're
that pushes them
funny,
down.
but like
Yeah,
every joke, if you drag it for too long, it eventually becomes annoying.
yeah. It's not that you know, it's not that their jokes aren't funny. It's just that sometimes they spend too much time on their just annoying behavior and stuff like that. But so this is
Exactly.
kind of hard to say. Um, I'd say he's somewhere in the middle of the. So if we're just taking the other four, if we're taking just Snotlout, Fishlegs, and the twins, he's somewhere in the middle. I'd have to
Mhm.
create I'd have to create a list, like I said.
Yeah,
And weigh my
maybe
opinions.
we'll have an episode where we do our top 10 and discuss it.
Hmm.
But okay, so I guess that's pretty much it for Fishlegs.
Hmm.
Overall, a good character, not the best, but
He's definitely
he's
good for friendship and stuff.
yeah, he's fine the way he is, and whenever he goes up next, we will be sure to talk about it because
Hmm.
there are a few more bunches of Race to the Edge episodes left, and
And
he will
he will
probably
definitely get
be
one.
he will definitely get at least one each season. So
Especially, we know that there's going to be one between him and Heather once Heather leaves. So,
yeah, especially in the next
rip.
season now that she's with them officially and Dagger
Yeah.
is no more.
Allegedly.
Yeah, so yeah, that's it. So thank you for listening. We're sorry if we offended you, and I was HC.
I was Rush.
And we'll see you next time on the Berkcast. See ya.
With plenty more conversations and controversies.
Let's not.
Okay.
Bye, guys.
Bye.